Hey, Mistral and I are back for our Monday lives, and today we are talking about the energetics of a coach. Are they important? Does it matter? Is there a type that makes for the best coach?
This is going to be such a great conversation because we're talking about the energetics of coaches through human design, and it's going to be so great.
I know, I love this because I know we talk a lot about in Planning by Design, our monthly membership. You get two coaches. You get a non-sacral projector coach, and then you get a manifesting generator coach. And we really just bring very different opposite energetics to this. So maybe we can kick off by saying what makes a manifesting generator a great coach.
Yeah. So, Jen and I have this conversation a lot about just the different energy types, how they come together. Jen and I always talk about when we come together as a manifesting generator and a projector, how there's certain things that I help Jen with, and there's certain things that Jen helps me with. And then because there's two of us in this group, we get to share so much of who we are into this group and pour into them. But, manifesting generators make really great coaches in a lot of different ways, mostly because we have really high energy, right? We have this sacral that's just lit up and moves us forward, and we can achieve so much in a limited amount of time. And the other part is manifesting generators, someone who's done something before you has already, skipped all the steps, moved forward, come back, reread the steps that they need to learn in order to move forward again. And so then that manifesting generator can just guide you along the way without you feeling that you're sort of all over the place in your manifesting generator energy, because they're supporting you in understanding where they've already been and how they skip those steps and what steps you actually need to skip or what steps you really do need to read first, which is super helpful. And I think, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, what I love about manifesting generator coaches is as a non-sacral, that energy. Like I can just see how much fun they're having in their business and that their aura, right? That's open and enveloping and just bringing people to them. I get drawn to them and I'm like, oh my gosh, your energy. Like I just want it, it's infectious and I just want it.
You just want it around you, right? Exactly. So, like inspiring, motivational, give you that sort of sacral energy to push you forward and take action, which is really awesome. And then I think one thing that manifesting generators as coaches are really good at too is they sometimes have multiple offers going at the same time, right? And so it almost leads somebody down a path where they're able to go from one program to the next program and almost like elevate themselves in multiple ways. And if they're a manifesting generator or a generator themselves, maybe that's kind of the action that they want to be taking too. And so it gives them that inspiration, motivation to also create that, which is really nice. And so it's that sort of ever changing, what's next? What are they going to surprise me with? Where am I going to get my inspiration from today from them? Because of the energy that we bring in that way, which is really exciting. Um, and so that's what you get from a manifesting generator coach.
Yes, I love it. And that's definitely what you bring into planning by design is just the energy of having these different ideas and ways of doing things that can really align with different people in different ways.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then, of course, we have generators that are similar to manifesting generators, right, in some ways, but they're different in the fact that they have that sacral energy still. So they're still bringing sort of that inspiration and that motivation and that sort of sacral energy through for others, non-sacrals, to really utilize. But they're a little bit more focused, right? When they're lit up in what they're doing, like I said already, they're inspiring, but then they have this like specialty that they almost hone in on and can really help guide somebody through this one particular specialty to get them sort of gapping that thing from the A to the B, right? Bridging the gap to where they need to be, and then kind of able to release them into the world as this newly transformed person. And so that's what's really beautiful about generators, that would be different from manifesting generators.
Yeah, and they still have that open and enveloping aura. So you're still just really
Mm.
drawn to them, but they really get specific on what they do. And when you're looking for that specific thing, they can really be the go-to expert that can kind of be like a one and done, right? I follow a amazing generator messaging coach, and I just love everything that she does messaging because it's all has to do with messaging. It's all super focused and everybody's just really drawn and you kind of do the thing and then you have great messaging. So it's really beautiful to see the generator coaches in alignment in those ways.
Yeah, yep, definitely. And then one thing I wanted to go back and say about the manifesting generator, because this is where I struggled, right? I struggled in the beginning of my business because I was always told, like, fit inside this box, right? This box is what you're supposed to fit inside. This is how we do it. And that was really hard for me as a manifesting generator. And I don't believe I was working with any coaches at the time who were also manifesting generators. So when I was like trying to rip that box open, they were just like trying to stuff me back inside. It really just didn't work. And so that's where, a manifesting generator in particular needs to really think about, like, is this coach teaching me in alignment with my energetics and how I actually want to show up in the world and create?
Yeah, and it can definitely be a challenge for a non-sacral because if we mistake that energy as our own and then we're trying to do it that way on our own, that's where we can really burn out. So it's just something to be mindful of when you're working with a coach who has a different energy type than your own.
Definitely. It's important to know these things.
It really is because let me tell you, 3-5, like I have made a lot of mistakes. I've invested in coaches and afterwards been like, oh wow, like what do I get? What do I have now? And it was because of the difference in energetics that I had a certain expectation, not understanding my own energetics, and that like really I never should have invested in that because it wasn't what I actually needed.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's so many business owners that can completely relate with that statement right there.
Yeah.
I know I can.
Par for the course, but
Yeah.
so
So next
moving
we have our non-sacrals, right?
right. And this is such a different energy, right? So as a non-sacral, having an undefined sacral center, they are going to reflect the energy back as well as, bring many other things. But chances are these coaches, you're not getting energy from, right? When you work with a generator and Manny Gen, you're just like it's just so great and energizing. But when you're working with these other coaches, there's not necessarily, there totally can be because there's nuances to everything, but I won't
Right.
dive into that. But you're going to get much more of an energetic reflection. You might get back what your energy in your business actually is, right? They're going to see you in that way and reflect it back. So, starting off with a manifester type, if you're working with a manifester coach, they are great at initiating, right? Manifestors are here to initiate new things, to get things started, especially if they're in their signature theme of peace. It might feel really nice to be with them, and they might help you initiate and get some really good, big things started in your business.
Absolutely. And then I think with the manifestors too is it's that energy of sort of that they're bold, right? And they will kind of help call you out when you are not sort of stepping into your power or being bold in your way either. And I think that's can be really helpful when you're first starting your business because there's a lot of mindset pieces that come into being in the online space and showing your face and sharing your point of view and all of those things. And so I think a manifestor right there with helping you initiate that can also help you over sort of overcome maybe that fear of getting out there and being bold, right? And initiating yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I worked with a manifestor coach once, and keep in mind that manifestors are only 8%. So there aren't a lot of manifestor coaches out there. And the ones that are, their aura is fixed and you may kind of like bounce off of it. But the coach that I worked with definitely initiated my mindset shift. Like I didn't really
Mm.
know what it was yet, but how she just kept calling me out and really showing me how to shift this and how I needed to, even though in some ways I wasn't quite ready yet. But she initiated internally within me so much. It was really cool.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
Totally in her alignment.
Right. And just to see that peace, like just to be in that realm of peace can be really beautiful and really alluring when you're looking for a coach too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about projectors, Jen. That's you. And I'll let you talk a little bit more, but I think one of the things that I admire so much about Jen as being in planning by design and as a projector is the fact that she really guides, such a wonderful guide on the pathway. And really for me as, business partners and what we've created, keeps me accountable and holds me to what I'm meant to be doing. And Jen will sometimes say, like, don't you remember you did that like 2 weeks ago? And I'm, oh yeah, I totally forgot about it because I was jumping to another thing. And so that's what's so beautiful when you have business partners or business besties, or you're working with a coach, for example, who is a projector, is that they're really going to help hold you accountable for what you're actually creating and guide you in a really beautiful way.
Thank
What do you
you.
want to
Thank you for that recognition, Miss Rawl. Oh, I just love it. I
add?
feel so successful.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so projectors, make great coaches because we are the natural guides and seers. Our aura, focused and penetrating. We're going to see deep within you. Many people aren't ready for that type of coaching. So I get some people who expect kind of like surface level coaching with me, and then we get into it, and I'm like, like we're getting down deep, and they might not be ready for it, so that can throw them off balance. But if you are looking for a guide for seeing a different way of going about things, especially that energetic reflection back, projectors, when they've found their mastery, right, kind of similar to the generator, like focused in one area, but projectors, we really like master something and have this expertise to really help guide people through this, right? I help guide people through their mind and emotions with human design to decondition. I was in yoga class this morning and I was like, wow, a projector yoga teacher would be so great because they could just guide you through moving your body and breath. Like that would be a really cool way to guide. Um, so yeah,
Mm.
projectors are just kind of natural guides. When we get to be deconditioned, when we found our success, when we're not burnt out trying to function like generators, we definitely do things our own way. And we really need to be seen for it. So if you are going to work with a projector coach, just make sure you recognize them and invite them in, and they will help guide you every step of the way.
Yeah, the recognition is the important piece, right? That's where you can just feel so lit up and supporting and helping, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And then we're going to give you all our energy because we know it's in alignment. So,
Yeah, that's right. I love
and
it.
then lastly, we have reflectors. And again, I don't know that there are many reflector coaches out there. I do know a few, and they're so beautifully amazing. But because reflectors are only 1%, so to find a reflector coach is so, so special. And they're really here just to reflect back, right? That's their name. So if you're really wanting a reflection back to you, like definitely find a reflector. I know one who is a book midwife. So she just kind of like reflects and guides you through writing your book that you want. One is a posture specialist, right? So she's going to reflect back the posture that she sees. So I feel like projectors and reflectors are a little similar, but just in that reflectors move slowly and really are a mirror. So like if you don't want to see everything reflected back, maybe you don't want to work with a reflector coach, and that's okay.
That can be, yeah, and that can be really, I mean, if you want to go deep, that's a perfect place to go, really, right? Projectors and
Yes.
reflectors. But
Yes.
that can be really challenging if you're not ready for it. And that can almost be a little bit shocking in some ways for you because, again, as you're starting in the online space and you're sort of clearing out limiting beliefs and subconscious blocks that have been holding you back or that you probably didn't even know were there, it can feel a little bit shocking when those are exposed. I know I've worked with a projector coach in the past years, and I remember she asked me for a review and I gave her a real raw one. And I think it took her back a little bit, but it wasn't to upset her. It was more just to be like, if this, if you want a coach who's really going to like pull you to where you are meant to be, a projector is the person to do it because they will call you out on every little place that you're hiding behind and make sure that you're, doing what you're meant to be doing so that you're showing up and creating like a successful business. And that was really it was two things. It was really challenging because it's hard to look at those things. And then it's very beautiful because it allows you to look at them, turn the page, and move forward, which is such a gift.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then to add to this conversation, in a way, I think that the type of a coach really doesn't matter. It's more
Okay.
about their defined centers and their gates, right? Especially Mistrell and I both have defined gate 11 in the mind ajna, which helps us generate ideas. So if you're, needing a new way of seeing all of your options, right? Our gate 11, especially because that's Mistrell's conscious sun, like that's 70% of her energy. Like if you want ideas, she's going to give you the energy and generate all these amazing ideas. So that's something really unique. Something that helps me hold people accountable is my defined heart, right? That's more on the rarer side, but that gives me the willpower. I guess you could say I've checked my ego and that's not coming into play. But if I say I'm going to do something for you, like I'm going to follow through. Like I don't forget, I'm going to make sure to follow through. So that when it comes to accountability is a little more helpful. So you certainly could have a manifester with a defined heart, right? Maybe they're an ego manifester and they're really going to help you initiate things, but call you out and hold you accountable and really give you that willpower to go do what you want to do.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so beautiful about all of the human design pieces is when you start looking at those open or defined centers, you can really start to see where your coach really shines and how they hold you accountable and how they push you through like the minutia that you're trying to work through, or how they guide you down the pathway so that you have these very clear steps so that you can get from A to B with ease and not having to make those mistakes on your own. And so when you do align, and you don't need to ask for your coach's human design chart and analyze it before deciding that you're going to work with them. Remember, it's coming back, right, to following our own authority, right? So if you have that sacral response, is it a yes or is it a no? Do you have an emotional wave where you have to ride out to figure that out? Or do you have another type of authority, making sure that you're following that so that you understand, is this in alignment, or am I just doing this because the sales call sold me on it? Or I feel like I think this is the next step. And that's what we really have to come back to, right? Is owning our own strategy and authority in these sort of bigger decisions, especially around hiring somebody to get you to your next level.
Absolutely. And another thing that Mistrell and I were talking about beforehand is that in human design, typically we talk about opposites attracting, right? An undefined center will attract a defined center just because of, the energetics of it. But what we see in coaching is that we actually attract what's similar, right? Mistral loves working with manifesting generators. I love working with projectors. So there's something to be said with coaching that you've been through it, you understand it, so you can more easily guide and coach others. So it's no surprise that our ideal clients tend to be the same energetic type that we are because we can very easily guide them.
Yes, I so agree with that. Absolutely. And I also feel that for me, at least, like I'm not a projector, I'm not a reflector. I don't know exactly what your needs are, right? But I do know manifesting generators and I do understand generators. And yes, I have a projector child, and yes, I have a manifestor child. So I do have some insight into that. But my specialty is understanding the mechanics and energetics of a manifesting generator, which can be a lot at different times. Especially my chart, I've always been told by human design experts when they see my chart, they're like, well, geez, you are a unicorn. Like, wow. So, being able to step into that power and own that and help other manifesting generators through that is just, that fuels my passion, right? That gets my inspiration, motivation going. So that's why they have success when they work with me, because of not because of what I'm doing, but because I'm igniting things within them that allow them to have that success.
Right. So remember, when choosing the right coach for you, it really comes down to your own strategy and authority. So understanding the strategy of your human design type and understanding your authority, where in your body that you make decisions from, so that you can find the right coach for you in that time, in what you're needing. And of course, we help guide people in Planning by Design, our monthly membership. We have our planning call tomorrow where we're going to help you plan out 2025, at least Q1, according to your energetics, things to look out for, things to be mindful of. So we're really excited to guide in that way, as we do many other ways on our weekly calls and Planning by Design. And of course, Mistral and I both do individual coaching. So if you're looking for a coach a little more than our monthly membership, which is goal setting and accountability according to your energetics, definitely reach out to either of us.
Absolutely. And tomorrow, I'm so excited for tomorrow because planning is key, right? We have to have a vision. We have to have a goal. We have to understand where we want to be in 6 months' time, or 4 months' time, or 12 months' time in order for our business to grow and scale. And without having that accountability and support, oftentimes it just gets pushed under the carpet because it's one of those things that nobody loves to do. But we're going to make it so fun because this is a spiritual planning, right? We're going to be pulling cards. We're going to be setting goals and intentions. We're going to be using tools that will help support us and guide us through this process and hold us accountable into those first, 4 months of next year, 2025. Crazy.
I know. Yeah, and I'm so excited for this. And I was just talking with someone just for in case anyone watching is like, "Oh my God, I can't plan like to put things down in a calendar 4 months ahead. Like I just can't do it." And I am here to tell you that you can because I am not one to put things in there. I mean, I have to put them in my calendar just so they're there. But I was joking with a friend of like, I'm gonna plan all of these things that like I'm not actually planning. Like I'm going to plan to not plan because my incarnation cross, my purpose of expect the unexpected. Like I have no idea what's going to come in, what invitations are going to come. So I'm going to make sure to leave space for these life-changing events that I'm not expecting but planning for.
I actually just love that you said that about leaving space because I think that's something, especially generators and manifesting generators, like we will load our schedules up because of our sacral giving us that energy to constantly do. But we also have been conditioned, which, other types have been too. But because of our work ethic, we've been conditioned to work like 24/7,
Yeah.
basically. And so, filling our calendars up doesn't allow us space for new opportunities to come in because with our magnetic aura, we are attracting opportunities and people and things all the time. And so creating that space and having a container like planning by design that helps you and holds you accountable to creating that space allows for those new things and opportunities to come to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
So
important.
either way you want to plan for 2025, join us in Planning by Design today. It's $22. You can cancel at the end of the month if you're just joining us for tomorrow. But we're just so excited.